Hello and welcome to Dialogue. Zhang Jiahao is a 27-year-old Chinese man who used to work as a baker 5 years ago. But he quit his job to pursue a dream of representing his country as a snowboarder in the Beijing Winter Olympics. At an age when other snowboard competitors might be thinking about becoming a coach to the new generation, he has been traveling the world, competing in qualifying events. What's the source of his determination? And what sacrifices has he made to pursue his remarkable dream? To find out, we invited Zhang Jiahao to tell us his story. Thank you, Jiahao. Most people, especially Chinese netizens, have started to know you through a short video in early September, in which you actually made a wish for yourself to join the race in the Beijing Winter Olympics. So first of all, could you share your story with the audience? Why did you make such a vow to kick off your journey at that time? And when did you start thinking of participating in the Winter Olympics? And at the time of posting the video, how sure were you that your dream would come true?
Well, I started thinking of joining the Winter Olympics in 2016 because in July 2015, China won the bid to host the Winter Olympics. Together with other Chinese athletes, I joined an international competition for the first time in 2016. It was the FIS Continental Cup in New Zealand. In that event, I got one of the best results among the Chinese athletes. It was also my first time to compete with top athletes in the world. That was when I thought maybe it would be possible for me to compete with athletes from all over the world 6 years later. I wondered if I could be part of the Olympics. To be honest, the video I posted in Chile vowing that my dream was to compete in the Beijing Winter Olympics represents quite a big determination because the pandemic was raging at that time, causing all kinds of difficulties. So the video expressed my attitude towards the whole thing about joining the race in Beijing. That is, I would go ahead and fight to the end, come hell or high water.
Indeed, the COVID-19 pandemic has undoubtedly caused a lot of inconveniences to many athletes, in terms of preparation and international travel. So this must have brought you some trouble and inconvenience as well. And how did you overcome these difficulties?
Under the shadow of the pandemic, there have been many challenges. First, I've had problems with my visa. The visa policies have varied greatly at the different stages of the pandemic response. I had 2 visa refusals. To join a match in South America, I applied for a visa to Argentina, but it was canceled because the pandemic got really serious. Then I went to Chile before I headed for Europe. Then I had another visa refusal. It's really tricky to get a visa. Another thing is the uncertainty of the race due to changing weather conditions. For example, both the matches in Europe and in South America were planned to be held as scheduled, but were then postponed due to high winds. Since our team traveled alone, I had to get a grip on how to handle a multitude of issues, such as driving, trip scheduling, making plans, translating, and leading other team members. It's quite a hassle to find solutions to all the problems that pop up along the way.
Unfortunately, you haven't qualified for this Beijing Olympics game. And could that undermine your confidence to stay on this path in the future?
Well, I just want to give 100% to what I love and give it my all. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if I stand on the starting line or not. All I want to do is give 100% to what I love. Anything else is secondary. Now I'm the oldest among all the athletes in the event. Many were born in 2004 or 2005. Some who are my age have become coaches. Nevertheless, I still believe that age is not an issue, and I want to give it another try.
We know that training in many professions should start as a young age. For example, snowboarding, where a person starts to learn snowboarding as a child and then gradually becomes a professional athlete. But you are different in that you are actually a latecomer to snow sports. maybe at the age of 17 or 18. What are the pros and cons, on this, on you and your career?
因为我在滑的时候，就是属于是，我还在我
Well, I was working in a hotel when I first started snowboarding. Back then, I was 17 years old. One day, I went to a snow park with my classmates, but at that time, I had no idea about practicing this full time. I didn't think too much about it. I just thought it was fun. Later on, I found that in competitive sports, athletes often start practicing when they are 3 or 4 years old. International players from abroad are already at their peak at the age of 17 or 18. I definitely felt that they were younger than me and better than me. So I wondered if I really had a chance. Despite the self-doubt, I moved ahead with my faith in myself and my love for this sport. I don't really care if I can beat anyone. I only think about whether I can beat myself. What matters most is that I stay true to my love of this sport and go as far down the path as possible.
能走到哪儿，尽我最大的可能，更多的初衷在于这个地方。
Jiahao, since you started the sport relatively late and you have made rapid progress, many people think you have talent in this area and say you are a genius. Is that the case? What would you say to those who think you are talented and gifted?
怎么说呢？
Well, how can I put it? People may think I've made really fast progress. In fact, it is true that during that period of time, I was making progress faster among friends around me. I snowboarded every day for 300 days out of 365 days a year. When I was working, all I could think about was how to snowboard, even when I was kneading bread dough. In fact, in terms of talent, I'm not the best one, maybe also not the worst one, but probably in the middle of the pack. It's like getting into a key university, but not necessarily Tsinghua University or Peking University. I think it's more about what drives me. It's the belief and the love that keeps driving me forward. Otherwise, during those times when I encountered difficulties, I definitely would have given up. If you attribute the fast progress to hard work, and actually everyone around me has worked very hard, but you ask yourself, why have I come this far? One reason is luck, and the other is belief. Without either one, I could not have become who I am today.
这两个缺一不可。
When you first started competing in international events, how did you feel when you had the best players in the world competing with you?
我第一次参加国际比赛就是在我2016
My first international competition was the Continental Cup in New Zealand in 2016. I was very excited to represent China in an international competition and to be with the world's top athletes. It's not about doing better than others, but more about learning from others, because, after all, it was the first time I had such a good opportunity to see how they practiced and learn from their experience. It was a very valuable opportunity, and I was very excited.
当时那个机会就特别宝贵。
Based on your experience, how detached is it, do you think, from an ordinary person's life to be a professional snowboarder or to stand in the top arena of competition in the world one day? What would you say to those young people who might want to follow down your path and become professional athletes? What are the biggest challenges in becoming professional athlete, and what would you share with them?
我认为，在我的心里，职业也好，
In my mind, whether you are a professional or an amateur really depends on whether you can do it for a living or not. But from my point of view, you have to know whether you really love the sport, whether you can give your all to the sport you love. I think that's the biggest challenge. Maybe the times you live and grow are different, the situations you face are different, and the competitions you have are different. I think you have to love it enough, and you have to be sure of your passion. If you are sure of your choice, then don't give up easily. When it gets difficult, give 100% to the sport you love. That's what I want to say to people who follow their dreams and people who want to make a living out of the sport.
这是我想对追寻梦想的人和想完成这项运动人说的。
China is not yet a big or strong country in terms of winter sports, especially snow sports. As a homegrown Chinese athlete, what challenges and difficulties do you think Chinese athletes will face if they want to have a chance to compete with the world's top athletes? And what do you think is the key for a country to be competitive in snow sports?
像单板滑雪这项运动起源于美国嘛，像咱们这个
Well, take snowboarding as an example. The sport originated in the United States and was officially included in China's sports games in 2016. In China, ski resorts were only made available to the general public at the end of the 1990s, which means that China is a latecomer in snow sports. I think the biggest problem lies in the short history of snow sports in China and its lack of popularity among the public. If more people love and join this sport, then in terms of competition, China will have a big lineup of talented athletes and will see snow sports get more popular. In fact, we are on par with Western competitors in terms of training methods and facilities. I hope that more people will join snowboarding and have first-hand experience with snow and ice sports. In doing so, we will have a better future in competitive sports and more people will participate.
Many people think snowboarding is actually an extreme sport. They believe it is not the same as ordinary sports. There are special requirements for this kind of sport. What is your take? What is the difference with ordinary sports?
我认为它和普通运动其实是一样的。
I think that it is actually the same as ordinary sports, except that it's a seasonal sport and is therefore subject to restrictions in equipment and venue. Compared to basketball or football, it probably raises more requirements in those regards. It needs to be played in winter in a place with snow, and then there has to be a ski resort with a cable car. You need to have a ski suit and a snowboard. So, in this sense, the requirements probably are a little higher. However, I think it can be defined as an extreme sport. People think it's more difficult than it actually is because we don't try hard enough to popularize the sport, and not so many people know about it. If the right training methods are used with a scientific approach and a good venue, it is an experience that is accessible and playable for all. You don't always have to do particularly difficult moves. You can simply glide or do simple jumps. You can try it out at small sites or random terrains with your snowboarding gear. It's not always about how high and how far you fly. It's about choosing your own way of experiencing it based on your skill level.
根据自己的能力来选择自己的项目。
All right, Jiahao, thank you for being with us. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Xu, for the interview. I will do my best.
我会继续努力。
In the second half of today's show, we've invited Billy Bai, a ski enthusiast and a ski travel vlogger who has traveled to more than 50 countries around the world and visited more than 200 ski resorts in nearly 20 countries. Welcome to the show, Billy.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Billy.
Thank you. You are a ski travel vlogger and someone who enjoys skiing. How did you originally get involved in winter sports? What inspired you to pursue such a career?
Well, I was born in Harbin, but never get a chance on real snow until 2012 in Grenoble, actually in France. It was a 1968 Winter Olympics city, so I spent 2 years studying France and snowboarding in French Alps. Actually, those make me addicted to the winter sports because just every weekend, everyone just go to the mountain. There's nothing else to do, just snowboarding and skiing. It's kind of the part of the French people's life.
Mm-hmm. Well, many people are curious, I guess, about how you do your video, how you do your job. Can you please share with us a bit about your daily life as a ski travel vlogger?
Yeah, I mean, working as a ski travel vlogger, I think normally I just separate my working time, half time on the mountain for shooting and skiing, snowboarding, and half time is just like indoor for editing and uploading the videos and images. So usually we will have a small team, like a cameraman and me, we just filming. We're trying to share our real feeling about skiing and the normal day is just like we wake up very early and probably like end the time just until midnight. It's kind of like kind of a long day, and every day is another difficulty was quite cold because you're gonna like stay a long time like outside.
I imagine it is a challenging job. So what's the best part of doing vlog?
I think the best part of being a ski travel vlogger is obviously like you have more time on snow skiing and traveling. Also, you have more chance to use different gears, equipment. So for me, I've buying a lot of gears, different brands. I've have like more than 100 snowboard. So I do enjoy travel. So I don't think it's that tiring because, as I said before, it's like a lot of the challenges like the cold, the long day. I think the bad thing is you can like have more time for both skiing and traveling.
Well, you said now you have a team, someone will do the filming for you. But when you started the vlog, I imagine you probably do it by yourself. How difficult it is. You are skiing at the same time you are handling the camera because there are so many elements, so many things you need to make sure is under control.
I mean, like filming before I got my cameraman, just like everything was like done by me, like myself. So sometimes I have those kind of 360 cameras, so you can the same time just filming other people, same time like filming yourself. And for filming or shooting on the snow, I would say it's quite challenging because like you need to prepare different weather, snow condition, and also your physical condition, like both like yourself and maybe now it's the crew. You can't control the pit traffic. Sometimes it's quite traffic. You know a lot of people on the pits. You can't just like let them away, and so everything is very changeable. So you don't have a lot of chance to redo the tricks. Most of the time, you only have one chance to just film one scenery or just like do one trick. Like also like when you're doing like from the morning to afternoon, the light might change, the weather might change. So the snow also could be tracked out. So you need to prepare well, and also you need to be very flexible to just like to see different condition. Yeah.
Who are your target audience? What's their response to your video?
I think like my typical audience just like live in the big city like Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen. So also a lot of the followers, they actually live overseas. I would say skiing is kind of a winter lifestyle to them. Some of them, they have families, so a weekend trip could be a part of their life.
Do you think such videos will inspire more people to get involved, to get to know and participate in winter sports?
Yeah, of course. I think the especially short videos are very fun. The image that make you willing to try the sports is a good thing. For me, I heard a lot of stories. They told me because my video or my articles, they decide to try skiing or snowboarding. Then because they see some video I made, they think the snow sports is very fun. And also like those different brand videos, like for example, like the Red Bulls, they make a lot of the really exciting videos about like snow sports. So people like really get too excited to see those sports, and they can't wait to try the winter sports because like they see something like exciting like from the screen, so they want to try themselves. I think that the short video is the really good thing to encourage people to try snow sports.
So what is what's the part that inspires you, the part that attracts you to keep on doing vlog, to keep on doing skiing, for example?
I think the one big big part for me is just like I really love skiing and snowboarding, and also I really love traveling. So because a lot of people they love snow sport, but they only want to like stay one resort or their hometown. It's just like they enjoy sports, but for me, it's I enjoy sports the same time I enjoy traveling. So I want to see different country, different culture, even different foods. Like just that snow is not about the sport itself. So skiing is just not only about like skiing. It's also combines like a pre ski, you know, like talking to different people to share the experience about like ski culture in, for example, like I can like tell them like how we ski in China, and like to see different areas that have different snow condition, different culture, and also like I record them and take it back to China and to my Chinese followers so they can see different resort actually what is going on, what is the different resort, what is mountain different, you know. It's just like very fresh and every day is different to me. So there's a lot of the new stuff for me that makes me just don't get tired.
So it's way more than the sport itself. It's about culture, it's about experience, it's about meeting people. Obviously, I mean, you have traveled to more than 50 countries around the world and visited more than 200 ski resorts in nearly 20 countries. So I wonder, you know, with such extensive traveling, extensive exposure, and also experience, is that what you had in your mind when you started doing this?
Honestly, I didn't, but I love traveling. So by the time I live in France, so I already like traveling to Europe. So I've been to many countries, which I think inspired me combine travel and ski together. Should be a very unique travel style for me, and actually it is. So now I think because a lot of people now they're doing the theme traveling to, for example, some people like safari, some people like scuba diving, and for me, just like ski travel is a kind of the unique style for me, and I'm happy to see more and more people they love this way. So they going to going overseas, like to Europe, to North America, they probably have like maybe like a 10 days trip, and probably like 70% of time they just like skiing. That kind of really fun travel style.
Yeah. So what are your favorite destinations?
I think my favorite destinations is definitely the Alps. So like France, Italy, Switzerland, Austria. I mean, there's so many beautiful ski resorts out there, and the style, just like as I said, is not only skiing itself, but also like après ski culture. They probably have the best après ski culture. You know, like after a long day skiing, like to see the beautiful mountains, to enjoy the fresh powder, and you have like hot wine or just a beer after ski, you know, like talk to your friends and to share like what day you have today, which pace and what kind of snow you have today. Just like also like in Europe, the mountain is very huge, and you can also like easy to just like to meet some lot of the kind people, they're willing to share their experience. And I remember a lot of times like a lot of the French people they're willing to share some hidden gem they found like in the resort. They will tell you which piece is the most fun, and because they say it's as their hometown, they want to share to you. I think Europe definitely have the best ski holiday element. So it's the best place for going to for like a week-long ski holidays.
Yeah. Well, you know, the Beijing Winter Olympics is around the corner. So do you have any filming plans?
Well, I don't know. I still don't know like if I can go into to see the game myself. But like now I'm starting to try to make some videos about to give the explanation of some event. For example, I'm going to launch a video about alpine skiing, because a lot of people alpine skiing is a very important event for the Winter Olympics, but not so many people know the difference about like slalom, giant slalom, like downhill, super giant slalom, those kind of the games. They they could be like complicated. So I want to make some explanation for them to easy to watch the game. And also I want to do some like introductions for some players, also like make public understand the sport easier.
So I guess is that part of your expectation for the Olympics, to get the Chinese people or people around the world more familiar with those sports, and probably much more than that? Well, obviously, there's a plan to encourage more Chinese people to get involved in winter sports, which China is not really strong, but that's the long-term plan. So what's the best way, do you think, to ignite, the interests of the people, in particular for children, to unleash the passion or to cultivate the passion for winter sports?
I think like if we look at the data, actually the data shows after the Winter Olympics, city like hosts the game, like the next 10 years, winter sports still have a really huge growth in. So I believe because like for example, like in Chongli or in Beijing, you can see the element school, the students actually going to snow to learn how to ski is become part of the study itself. So, and also I think like winter sport actually is a kind of the fun sport. You need to share your feelings. So it's you need more people join and play together. And also like parents, they're willing to bring their kids and on the pace because they think their children must learn this kind of the skill they need to be learned. And you see friends actually bring more friends to join the skiing holidays and to share their feelings. I think skiing is definitely much more fun when we do it together. So it's a good thing for like just to boom in the industry. Also ignite like more children or like more people to join winter sports.
Yeah, I mean, based on your experience, I mean, you have a rich experience in overseas in meeting people from other countries, understanding their culture and their probably sports. And, is there anything, China can learn from them?
I think definitely because if you look at Chinese resort, so far you see the facilities are already very modern. I would say definitely much more modern than Japan and almost like same level as North America and Europe, which is a good thing. And we need to, the ski resort, they need to learn some like good thing from operation. For example, like the security or the ski patrols, like those are good things. We need to take a long time to learn from those advanced country like Europe or North America. And I would say China definitely have a unique snow condition. Most of the snow we do is artificial snow. We don't have that much natural snow, but we have a longer time for winter. Like with artificial snow, we can do it like start from October and end at May. That is about like 7 months, which is definitely a crazy period, and so makes more people have more time on snow. And I would say China just can learn some best part from the like so kind of strong country in winter sport, and we can create our own style. And because like like Chinese people, they good about like learning, and we can just create the things ourselves.
Yeah,
and we have like huge varieties to join the sport.
Yeah, that's encouraging. Well, Billy, thank you for speaking to us. I wish you good luck in your next journey.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
With that, we come to the end of today's show. Many thanks to our guests. You can also watch us on the CGTN app or on YouTube. Thank you for being with us. I'm Xu Qinduo. See you next time.